Hey gang, it's your buddy Platt back with another Spirit Series video. Today I want to dive a little deeper in the world of tequila. We're going to start off by talking about Mixto Tequilas, M-I-X-T-O. Mixto Tequilas are tequilas that have at least 51% of, or at least made from at least 51% blue agave, or at least 51% of the fermentable sugars come from the blue agave plant. The rest can come from different forms of sugar, fructose, sucrose, what have you. Most of the time it's going to come from cane sugar. Now actually, oddly enough, cane sugar costs more to produce. It's post-production that agave becomes a little tougher. Harvesting, the cooking, the milling of the piña, it's called a piña, adds so much more labor, time, money into the process that it becomes more feasible just to use cane sugar. The practice of adding additional sugars or not having 100% agave tequila came about in the 1930s. There was an agave shortage. We still had tequila to sell, and they kind of justified it. Well, hey, this is only a temporary thing. We'll get back to 100% agave when we can. And shortly thereafter, it did, especially during, I believe, World War II. People just weren't buying, as much stuff because of the war and everything. They were able to catch back up. The practice didn't come back around until the 1960s. At that time, they only allowed up to 30% other sugars. Eventually, it worked its way to 49%. Again, the justification at first then was, well, we're getting a little low on agave. Man, this really helps out our cost. But what they ended up finding out was that the Mixto tequilas were a little more approachable to the U.S. palate. The 100% agave tequilas at the time were just a little too harsh. These mixtos with the additional cane sugar just were a little more, it was something the Americans could handle. And you have to remember that time the American palate was a little different. If you went to a liquor store, there were fewer shelves, less variety. We really weren't in the age of mixology like we are now. Prohibition was not too far in the rearview mirror. There wasn't a craft beer movement or a craft cocktail movement, so American palates were just simpler, and these Mixto tequilas really kind of fit that niche perfectly. Beside adding additional sugars to a Mixto tequila, there are several other things you can add. Caramel coloring, oak extract to kind of give it an aged flavor to it, glycerin, sugar syrup. So it's just not, Mixtos is just not, well, we add a little cane sugar to it. There's a little more to it. And part of it is to give that, what we would think of tequila feel to the product. What you won't see on a bottle of Mixto tequila is the term Mixto. That's just something they're not necessarily proud of, or they don't want to use that. How you know it's a Mixto tequila is because it won't say 100% agave. If it's 100% agave tequila, they're really going to pump that part. That's really going to be part of the company's story. And so if it is, they're going to announce that, they'll label that somewhere on the bottle. If it doesn't say that, then you know you got a Mixto. Talking about Mixto, let's try the most popular Mixto tequila, and it's actually the most popular tequila in the world, and that is Jose Cuervo Tequila Gold, Jose Cuervo Especial, however you want to see it, just good old Cuervo. Cuervo, this one's like all others, 80 proof, 40% alcohol by volume. Besides being just the most popular tequila as far as brand-wise, or as far as individual style, bottle, whatever you want to say, the Jose Cuervo line is by far the most popular tequila line in the world. It makes up roughly 1/3 of the world's tequila market, somewhere between 33 and 35% at any one time. An easy way to think about it is 1 out of every 3 bottles of tequila getting sold in the world is a Jose Cuervo product. A little backstory to the Cuervo name. Cuervo, a gentleman named Jose Antonio Cuervo, in 1758 bought the land that later became the first plantation and distillery of the Cuervo line. In 1795, his son Jose Maria Guadalupe Cuervo ended up getting the first license from the King of Spain to produce and sell tequila. About 60 years later, in 1852, the Cuervo tequila started to make its way up north, I believe in California first, but eventually made its way to conquer the good old US of A. Today, the Beckman family currently owns the Jose Cuervo line. The Beckman family are descendants of Jose Antonio de Cuervo, so they've kept it in the family. The Cuervo company is one of the largest family-owned spirit companies in the world. I think it's just right behind the Bacardi family. The Beckmans, beside owning Jose Cuervo, also own a company called Proximo Spirits. Proximo Spirits distribute Jose Cuervo here in the U.S. Cuervo does have a complete line. It's just not the gold or the 1800, which now is, I don't even think considered under the Jose Cuervo line. It just goes by 1800 instead of Cuervo 1800. They do a traditional line that's 100% agave. They have the La Familia, which is their extra añejo, and actually a really good product. So don't let the Jose Cuervo name ruin you in the entire product line. Enough talking about Cuervo. Let's try some Cuervo. Oh my gosh, that's tequila. That is what tequila was to me when I was 21 years old. I can smell that right there. But now I know what the components are. But then I was like, oh, that's something. That's manly. And oddly enough, when I first started bartending and first started drinking, I had to save up, and Cuervo was actually the step up. That was the good stuff, not the right good stuff in the plastic bottle. That's what I could afford. But the Cuervo, that was the good stuff. Let's give this a try. Holy cow! That tastes like college. Yeah, it really does. A little more of the bite that people would assume in a tequila. This is not quite. In the previous video on tequila, I tried the Salsa Gold, which again is a Mixto like this one. That one just seemed a little milder, a little softer on the palate. This one's a little more aggressive, which again is perfect in that kind of college frat boy, if I'm doing tequila poppers kind of thing. This is a little more what you think of that. I will say this one has more sweetness than the Salsa. Maybe some wood, maybe a little more wood note on it. It could be an oak extract in there. But I will say there's a little more, yeah, probably, I'm just going to say wood, a little more vanilla. Again, that's partly what you would get from the wood. I do know that I believe 1800 for a long time was technically a reposado. So this is not, it's not necessarily always an unaged, when you see a Mixto in this color warmer, it's not necessarily an unaged tequila that has, caramel coloring. It could be a reposado that's just very light and they add a little more caramel coloring, but you could be getting some actual real wood on the palate. That being said, I just get a lot of college and dorm room on that palate. Well, I hope you liked this video. If you did, please subscribe down below. Also, please like the video because it lets YouTube know we're putting out good content. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, ideas, what have you, please leave them in the comment section, or you can always contact me on the Twitter page. Till next time, bottoms up.